Milky Hank recently received a pretty big buff, being that he receives 50% of all the damage he's taken back whenever he uses his super. So with this being said, a lot of people will be wanting to know how to play him. So in this video, I'm going to be going over his best kit, his best modes, his best tips, and how good he is in the meta after these changes. Getting straight into it, we're going to go onto his kit. And I think this is pretty obvious for both sides. For Gadget, you can either get the slow or you can get the shield, and most of the time the shield is just more beneficial. You just obviously protecting yourself more. Obviously he got a nerf to his health with his update, obviously giving him that buff to be big. So I feel like having the shield as extra protection is nice. I can understand the other one though. As for starter power, this is the most obvious one. Take cover is absolutely useless, and it's gonna blow is the only one you're ever gonna want really. So go with that. As for gears, I have health and damage personally, but I would also recommend speed. Moving on though, we have his best modes. I've found a lot of success personally in his 5v5 knockout in this map that I've been playing and the other map that was out previously. But I don't know, with the whole damage buff thing, he absolutely decimates people because he can just do like 15k damage when it's just him. Like, it is great. He's also good in Hot Zone, and he's also good in Brawl. They're just other modes that I would acknowledge. But I won't replay him in Gem Grab, I won't replay him in Wipeout, I won't replay him in Heist, unless you're just Prawn Ready and then play him wherever, because, you know, you're just better. But yeah, as for general tips, there's a few things with Hank that I feel like people do or don't do where they should be doing the opposite. So the first thing I would say that is probably important for the player to do is to make sure the bubble isn't directly facing the person you're against. Like, it is good to be aiming at them sometimes, but like at the same time they can see the size of your bubble, which can be good for them because obviously they can know how much range they have to be out of, but at the same time they don't have to worry about who they're going for because they know you're going for them. Because say for example there's two enemies, you're Hank obviously because you're the best, and then there's maybe like an Angelo and a Tick. The Tick's at the top, the Angelo's at the bottom, and you're kind of like in the middle. If you're aiming towards the Angelo, they're gonna think you're going for the Angelo. Great logic, I know. But if you suddenly swoop it around and aim for the Tick, I said the Angelo first, right? I don't care. If you're aiming towards the Angelo originally, but then you turn and point it towards the Tick last second, they're not gonna expect that. They're probably staying out of the range because they're a Tick. But like, that can catch a lot of people off guard, and considering they won't fully know the range because obviously it's the other way around, they're just gonna have a bit of a sticky situation, you know. I've also noticed the shield gadget just comes in like clutch a lot, because a lot of people think, okay, he's quite easy to kill because he doesn't have like the most health in the game, but he's also like very defenseless. But you suddenly pop the shield when they expect to kill you in like one more shot, and then like they've got to do a bunch more, and it's like, okay, that is nice. With the super buff, I want to talk about this. I personally think the super should be used mainly for defense now, mainly for healing. More kind of like how, I don't know, like maybe how you'd use a tower super for defense rather than offense. Like, I feel like that's what you should do with Hank. Use it as a defensive tool. And I know obviously it decimates people if you're like stood right on top of them. There's a few like situations like if an Edgar jumps on you or if a Kit jumps on you where it's great, but like I don't really see the damage potential really being as important as the healing anymore, because he lost health, which obviously getting super with Hank is difficult by itself, because obviously he only takes 4 shots to charge a super, fully charged, but like that's easy for like a Fang or something. But considering how hard it is for him to hit his shots, which I'll get to in a minute, it's like, it's not great like to have the super being very sparing and having the buff rely on the super. Because yeah, you might not have it that much, so I recommend using it for the healing rather than the damage, because you can do the big damage with the main attack, which is what I'm going to get to. People are scared, people are little children basically everyone in the player base, and they do not like big numbers. So if they see funny milky man called Hank chasing them at 200 miles per hour with bubble getting bigger, they're gonna say, oh no, bombastic, this is not Skibbity. What am I saying? I want to kill myself. I don't think they're really gonna be happy. So if you use it as more of a way to like control the area, like if you're using it in hot zone, for example, very good use, then like obviously you're gonna be having a value. So like a lot of the time, just having a Hank pressuring the field can be just as important as them actually doing damage. It doesn't always have to be the Hank actually doing stuff. With that said, I also want to just talk about how his like bushes affect his main attack, which personally I don't think is a good thing. I think he should be able to charge 50% of his attack before being seen in bushes, but Supercell is stupid with balance changes, so here we are. Joking. I love you, Supercell. Can we create a code, please? But I think it should be a thing, but obviously it isn't. So a lot of people just need to be aware, because a lot of people might just start charging their bubble and then obviously just get shot by a Piper. Like, think about what you're doing with your bubble, which is also a tip by itself. Just you've got to know what you're doing with your bubble, where it is, how much it's charged. Another tip that's coming straight from that to do with a bubble is know the damage proportional to the sizes, because obviously if it's max damage it does around 4k, that's something most people should know, and when it's the very smallest it does like 900, that's something you should also know. But you should try have a rough idea on like the damage where it's 2/5 charge, 3/5 charge and 4/5 of the way charged, or just a half and 3/4 if you're a bit lazy, you know. But yeah, it's important because it's not always fully worth just using the big bubble. Obviously, if you can charge the big bubble and hit them, that's good. But like a lot of the time, there might be like a Miko jumping on you, which is one of his biggest counters. Which obviously you've got to just bubble them down, and you most of the time just have to use little bubbles. So it's good to be aware, and it's good to be aware of your surroundings with Hank, because Hank gets countered very easily. Miko with his reload steal star power instantly removes Hank's bubble. Any type of stun removes the bubble, because obviously he just gets stunned. Cordelius is his biggest counter, taking him to the Shadow Realm and all sorts. Every update seems to bring a counter to Hank, so you've just got to know how to counter the counter and be prawn ready, and to absolutely not be a wimp but to be a shrimp. Thank you for watching.